Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted 3 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is chapter 16, also known as One Shot at This. And we have headed to the airport and we're gonna sneak aboard a cargo plane heading into the Rubal Khali desert, and we're gonna try to catch a ride with that. But before we get there, as in all Uncharted games, we are gonna have to do some fighting. Big surprise there, but I really like this chapter because it's a reasonable length. That sounds like an old man, but it's a fitting length for the chapter, and also there are some really fun fights in this chapter, so I like it a lot. The only part that's a little bit slow is here at the beginning, because we are heading into these old warehouses. And we're gonna push a big jeep up that little hill. And so we can sneak out the window. And this takes a little while because you have to wait for Elena to get her butt in here. Apparently, or maybe I should have trimmed this out. That could have been a great idea, but I don't want my videos to look too much like chopped beef. There's good to have some consistency and a flow to even the storytelling. And as I said, I like the fights in this chapter, and you can do some of them very smoothly. I tried to do a setup in the first fight to more or less spawn kill all the enemies, and of course I had a good setup, but of course, as one does when you're recording, I fucked up and had to reset the fight, or I had to redo the fight because I died. And since the checkpoints are what checkpoints are, and of course I couldn't restart before the fight, so the game reset at the beginning of the fight, or just before it kicks off. So I had to alter my plan a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you what I was planning to do. And maybe you can do it. And if you can't, then I have a really good strategy for the fight. It's not very hard, I messed up. Like you do sometimes. You know, sometimes when you're playing, you come in, you start your console, whichever you have, PS4, Xbox One, whatever. And you're just in the zone. You know, when everything just flows, honey rains from heaven, and the angels are singing, and the harps are playing, and everything is just perfect. And then you have those days where you just start a game and you get probed. You can be playing like one of those kids games where you have to press one button and the game tells you constantly for 5 minutes that in 4 minutes and 57 seconds press the button, and what happens when you're supposed to press it? Your finger slips and you miss the fucking gamepad and nothing works. But it wasn't as bad as that, but I just messed up a little bit and had to readjust my strategy. And what I was going for here was that when you shoot the padlocks off a door over to my right, a jeep will drive in through that garage door. And I put 2 gas canisters up here in front because my plan was, in my mastermind of spawn kills, that I place one of these gas canisters just about here, and I'm gonna place one a little bit further up. So my plan was that as soon as they come in through the door, or jump out of the car to be more correct, I will just shoot one of the canisters and that will spawn kill everyone. As I said, it didn't work because for some reason I decided to start shooting off the padlocks before I threw in the second canister, which was really stupid, but I adjusted my strategy a little bit. I ran over here and I pick up a gas canister, and when you're throwing a gas can, if you immediately pop out your aim and fire, I think Nate locks onto it, because you could see my reticle was really far off from where the canister was. So I think the game takes it as an auto lock, which is awesome because you can do really cool shit, and at least I killed 2 enemies with it. So it was a small It was a small victory, made things a little bit easier, even though this fight is not very hard. The only thing that can kill you, you could see the enemies kind of spread out. And one of the guys headed over to my right, and I missed the fact that he went into the right side. So he managed to flank me, he started firing, they started firing, and some rude words were spoken, and now we're on a non-speaking basis. Especially since they are dead. And I pop a beautiful headshot over there. I've realized something now that I've recorded all the games in this series and played through all the games in somewhat a good succession. This is by far the easiest game to do headshots in. By far. First game is a close second. And I would say Uncharted 4 is by far the hardest one to pop headshots in. Because of two reasons. First of all, your aim reticle in that game is quite big. And you're always it felt like you're always shooting enemies over a great distance.
Oh crap, that's bad.
Because in this game you're always in kind of close quarters when you're firing. When you're fighting. Almost always. I'm gonna say almost always, because some battlefields are actually quite big. But most of them are quite compact. You don't have a really huge area to cover. And since your aim reticle has a dot in the middle when you're firing a handgun in this game, it's really easy to take those sweet, crispy headshots. I really like it. And here I head in. This is really weird, because I break his neck. That guy is standing with his back towards me, and his spider sense just started tingling. Because he was standing, his back towards me, and a big fucking SUV in the way. And he just, for some reason, noticed I broke the neck of his friend. And how I survived that grenade is up to the gods to decide. That was a close fucking call. But sometimes you gotta roll with the punches. And this is one of those moments where he just doesn't want to cooperate. He is gonna hide behind that big container. So we just run around and bash his skull in against side of it. If he likes it so much, he can place his brain matter on it and never be heard from again.
Up here.
And the next fight coming up is the only part of this chapter, I think, that can be challenging. But you saw a little transition there, because I did this on my second attempt. And this is really risky. I'm standing really close, and luckily for us, these guys are suffering from tunnel vision. It seems that if something is out of the torchlight, they cannot see it. And I'm not gonna swear 100% that that's true. Maybe I just got lucky. But it seems that way at least. And my plan for this fight was to try and sneak kill at least a few of them to even the battlefield a little bit before shit kicks off. Which things always do in this fight. I think there is an invisible trigger that starts the fight when you have killed a certain amount of enemies. And I only managed to stealth kill 2 of them. And that may have been clumsiness on my part. I don't know, but anyway, if shit kicks off, or when shit kicks off, hide behind this car, because this is a great area to be. You are at absolutely no threat back here. Or there is one threat. Some heavies are gonna show up. I think it's 3 heavies in total. They are more or less the only ones who can kill you, because most of the enemies will not push up. If they do, you're at a great position to just blind fire kill them, because it's quite a cramped area. Once again, I got really lucky with a grenade. And this area is really tight. They will usually go on the left, where you have great line of sight, and you can just mow them down. But the heavies can be a little bit tricky, so I suggest you try to save your grenades for when the heavies show up. I think I think there's first one that comes and the other two come in at the same time. So try to save your own grenades for them, because that's a really effective way to tackle heavies. And these guys, you can just shoot. There is plenty of ammo to pick up before this fight kicks off, if you haven't been too liberal with your firing during the previous fights. And in this game, as I've mentioned before, we have the awesome power of the grenade throwback. So grenades are no threat at all, and having just played Uncharted 4, I really wish they had put something like that in that game as well. Because that is something I had forgot about that game, that oh my god how they love to throw grenades. It's insane. It's like raining TNT. Or whatever it is in... whatever the explosive is in a hand grenade. They use it constantly. It's like New Year's Eve. Just around the stroke of midnight when everyone goes fucking insane. And they start shooting fireworks in every fucking direction except for up. That is the only direction no one will fire fireworks. No, we're gonna aim for our neighbors and shit like that. Oh, I'm gonna go for the balcony up there on the 4th floor. They will probably love getting a fucking rocket up in their flowers or whatever shit people have on their balconies. But anyway, this fight, as I said, I'm just sitting behind this car. No one has been able to even get close. And now I'm just gonna wait. I think this may be the last guy. And I pop, once again, a beautiful headshot. You see that aim reticle? It's so overpowered, it's insane. And I'm just gonna wait for this guy. He's doing his yoga moves. And trying to line up my sight, and of course he decided to go into another animation. He wanted to throw a grenade, and I just denied him that. I deny you your right to throw grenades at me. Instead, I will shoot you in the head. And yeah, I've had forgotten about these guys. Be careful when you walk out. As you can see, there is one sniper up there, and I think the first guy I took out has a grenade launcher. Not 100% sure, and here comes the heavies. And that was a great grenade throw, by the way. Because, no, he didn't drop his grenade. But they come a bit too close for comfort, so I have picked up the Spaz or whatever the shotgun is called. And that is the... Let's try that again. The shotguns have amazing stopping power. The SAS or Spaz or whatever it's called, that when someone gets too close, just give them a round of buckshot in their face and you will pulverize everyone. Heavies do take 2 or 3 shots, but it will stop them. Beautiful weapon. Not so good over distance though. And I remember the first time I played this game on Crushing, which was maybe a year or so ago. And when I came to this fight, then I didn't know about this garage. I found that later, on a later run of the game. But the first time I played this fight, when shit kicked off, I talked earlier in this episode about when you go into the zone, when everything flows and everything works. You could be a fucking elite gamer, pro gamer, winning huge tournaments and being really rich. I went into the zone. I just got into the flow and everything I did worked perfectly. I was bulletproof, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, everyone at all. Everyone at once was what I was gonna say. And I was so sad after the smoke had settled. I was standing in a big pile of bodies, and I realized that I had no means of recording it, because it would have been a beautiful thing to have recorded. Something I could watch when I get old. That one time where everything just worked. And now we're getting up close to the end of this chapter, and this can be a little bit tricky because we are gonna run across this roof. I recommend bringing a shotgun because you can do one shot and take out anyone that's in your way. And as soon as you get over to that second building and you do a takedown on that guy, just run. Because we're gonna try and catch up with this cargo plane heading for the desert. And that was also something, first time I played this, because we start running behind this plane a little bit. I'm quite impressed of Nate that thinks that he can actually run up to a plane that's taking off. That's believing in yourself, lad. But the first time I played this, you're gonna have to press the R2 button for Elena to accelerate the jeep and head for the front wheel. First time I played this, I didn't know that you had to press R2. So I was just cruising behind the plane. I was like, okay, is it gonna trigger? No, I failed. So press R2 and aim for the frontal wheel. It's called a frontal wheel. Anyway, when you get close enough, I don't know if Nate jumps automatically or if you have to press X. Press X for safety. But anyway, he climbs onto the landing gear and we can head into the next chapter. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.